Gurudev. Nitai Go Premanandi. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivajagacharya Stotra Shri Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhai Chanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivajagacharya Stotra Shri Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Santa Saraswati Thakur Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Anant Kori Vaishnav Vrind Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की नामचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिर गोवर्धन की श्री वृंदावन धाम की मथुरा धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा माई की यमुना माई की भक्ति देवी की युग धर्म हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की Srila Prabhupada Translation Book Distribution Ki, Srila Prabhupada Translation Prasharam Distribution Ki, Sri Nityananda Trayodasi Mahotsav Ki, Hidai Go Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glory to Shri Guru and Shri Guru. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the most auspicious occasion of Sri Nityananda Trayodasi. This morning we'll be reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, chapter 5, verse number 208. But before that we'll recite the invocation. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda. Verse number 208. Preme Mata Nityananda Kripa Avatara Uttama Adama Kichu Nakare Vichara Preme Mata Nityananda Kripa Avatara Uttama Adama Kichu Nakare Vichara Preme Mata Nityananda Kripa Avatara Uttama Adhama Kichu Nakare Vichara. Preme Mata Nityananda Kripa Avatara Uttama Adhama Kichu Nakare Vichara. Mata Nityananda Kripa Avatara Uttama Adhama Kichu Nakare Vichara. Preme Mata Nityananda Kripa Avatara Uttama Adhama Kichu Nakare Vichara. Preme Mata Nityananda Kripa Avatara Utama adhama kichu nakare vichara. Preme mata nityananda kripa avatara. Utama adhama kichu nakare vichara. Preme mata nityananda kripa avatara. Utama adhama kichu nakare vichara. Word for word translation. Preme, in ecstatic love. Mata, mad. Nityananda, Lord Nityananda. Kripa, merciful. Avatara, incarnation. Uttama, good. Adhama, bad. Kichu, any. Na, not. Kare, makes. Vichara, consideration. Translation. So I'll read the translation and read the next verse in translation because they both go hand in hand. Translation by Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. Because he is intoxicated by ecstatic love and is an incarnation of mercy, he does not distinguish between the good and the bad. Text 209. Ye age padai tare kara ye nishtara ataiva nishtari la mohina durachara. Translation. He delivers all those who fall down before him. Therefore he has delivered such a sinful and fallen person as me. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishubhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tirubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Shri Nityananda Ram ki. So today is a very auspicious occasion, the appearance of Lord Nityananda. In fact, just a few days ago we celebrated the appearance of Advaita Acharya, and this carries on till Gaur Purnim. So the verse that we just read, I'll just read the translations of both of them. Because he is intoxicated by ecstatic love and is an incarnation of mercy, he does not distinguish between the good and the bad. He delivers all those who fall down before him. Therefore, he has delivered such a sinful and fallen person as me. So there are some words in these translations that should be expounded upon. The Bengali or the verse preme, in ecstatic love. So as we understand, the first incarnation of Krishna is Balaram, expansion. Similarly, the first expansion of Lord Chaitanya is Lord Nityananda. And similar to Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda is always in ecstatic love. And he's always exhibiting symptoms of, as we understand that, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, following in the footsteps of Srila Rupa Goswami, is describing the different stages of bhakti. And the highest stage of bhakti is Prema Bhakti. And as we see, Lord Nityananda is exemplifying that. Along with the other attribute of Lord Nityananda is Kripa Avatar, expansion of mercy. There was a pastime of Srila Prabhupada in which there was a devotee, His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj relays this, and he was saying, he was on the phone, and somehow or the other there was a devotee who was relaying a concern to Srila Prabhupada that there's a devotee who's fallen from the standards and is now consuming ganja, sort of a drug. And Srila Prabhupada told him that you should tell him that if he doesn't give up this habit of his, I will abandon him. So the devotee relayed this message to him, and he said, Prabhupada reiterated 3 times, tell him that if he doesn't give it up, I'll abandon him. I'll have nothing to do with him. Then when they hung up the phone, Tamal Krishna Maharaj asked Srila Prabhupada, did you actually mean it, that you'll abandon him? He said, no, I'll never abandon him. And then Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, but Srila Prabhupada, there should be some boundary or some limit to where you can draw the line. And Srila Prabhupada, this is a famous quote, you can look it up, there is no limit to Lord Nityananda's mercy. So as we see, Lord Nityananda appeared in Eka Chakra, in the district of Radha Desh. In contemporary time, we also have Radha Desh in Belgium. So it is described in Radha Desh, religious places or religious sites are actually marked by the holy rivers flowing through them. So Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, the confluence of these 3 rivers, wherever they pass through whichever district, that's considered to be pious, and it's marked with people who are practicing the religious, who are actually endowed with religious qualities. But in this town of Eka Chakra, actually there's no Ganga flowing. So it's actually considered to be a fallen place. But Lord Nityananda, staying true to his mood of being a Kripa Avatar, in expansion of mercy, and as we read in this verse here, he doesn't distinguish between the good and the bad. Uttama or Adama, he's actually distributing mercy equally to everyone. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, in his true humility, is saying that someone as sinful and fallen as me is actually receiving Lord Nityananda's mercy. In fact, this is a very important chapter in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. All chapters are equally important, but this chapter it starts off with the tattva of who Lord Nityananda is, which we'll dwell on in a bit. But then he says that, someone as sinful and fallen as me got the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. So how much more merciful is Lord Nityananda? So he doesn't distinguish between the good and the bad. And he delivers all those who fall down before him. Therefore he has delivered such a sinful and fallen person as me. So being sinful, durachara, is not a misqualification. The only qualification is that one must bow down to Lord Nityananda. In one of Srila Prabhupada's memories, there's a disciple of Prabhupada who's saying that his father had never actually bowed down to, to any person in his life. He was, he had the sense of dignity, and he just felt that he was a self-made man, as we always say this. And I'm a self-made man. I've done everything on my own accord, And when his son, this disciple, joined the movement, he was somewhat not happy. But his son convinced him to come and see Srila Prabhupada. So the father came just, to somehow maintain the cordiality between him and his son. And it described that Srila Prabhupada was actually entering. It was a room filled with people. And because this disciple's father was there, he was just a bit nervous to see how, it would all turn out. So as soon as Srila Prabhupada enters the room, there's kirtan happening. As soon as Srila Prabhupada enters the room, everyone just, falls flat on the floor. And this disciple also falls flat. And next, a few minutes later, as they're chanting the Prema Dhwani prayers, everyone gets up, and this disciple looks around, and he sees that his father is still on the ground. And when he spoke to his father after Srila Prabhupada's talk, and he said, "Never have I met a person in my life who's worthy of bowing down. Today I've met this person." So there was a famous song by Boy George, "Bow Down, Mister." So this devotee was saying, finally my father gave in to him. So the only qualification is that one must be humble, and one must actually bow down to the mercy of Lord Nityananda. Srila Narottam Das Thakur had actually beautifully sung this in his Prarthana. Brajendra Nandane Sachi Sutta Hoila se Balarama Hoilo Nitai Dina Hina Jatachila Harinam Udarila Tarasakshi Jagai Madai. Lord Krishna, who is the son of the king of Vraja, became the son of Sachi, Lord Chaitanya, and Balaram became Nitai. The holy name delivered all those souls who were lowly and wretched. The two sinners Jagai and Madai are evidence of this. So Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda have come to give this process, practicing bhakti yoga and how one can achieve perfection. I was hearing this only, the Radhanath Maharaj described this beautiful pastime, and he's saying this, the mother of Lord Chaitanya, Sachi Devi, was having a dream. And in that dream she was worshipping Krishna and Balaram on the altar. And as she was offering different items, incense, all of a sudden she says, Nitai creeping in to the picture, and Nitai going and telling Balaram on the altar, "Hey Balaram, get down. You're outdated now. This is Kali Yuga. This is not your Yuga. It's in Dwapara Yuga you were playing with Krishna, but in Kali Yuga you're meant to be the servant of Lord Chaitanya. So you need to get down." And Balaram says, "Wait a minute. It's just been 500 years. Just give me some time. I'll take my time." And then they both had a fight. Lord Balaram and Lord Nityananda had a fight. Can you imagine who won? Lord Nityananda won. And then as Mother Sachi was watching this dream, she understood that this is in Kali Yuga, the incarnation is Gaur Nitai. So Gaur Nitai are here, and they are very, very merciful, and they're giving us the process by which we can achieve that perfection or the prema bhakti that's been described by our acharyas. So once in Bombay, Srila Prabhupada, there's a devotee who came up to Srila Prabhupada and said, "Swamiji, only you can save me. Only you can deliver me." And Srila Prabhupada said, "No, I cannot save you, but I can give you the process by which you can be saved." And the process is the chanting of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So for that, one needs to take the process in humility and accept the mercy of Gaur Nitai. Also another time in Seattle, one of the very early days of the movement, after one talk, there was a gentleman who actually told Srila Prabhupada, actually, you see, in today's day and age, all of us are pretty much of the same, have similar qualities. We all like-minded, we have the same challenges. Actually, no one is perfect, what he was trying to tell. And he told Srila Prabhupada, "So I don't need to bow down to anyone." And Srila Prabhupada then looked at him and said, "You don't want to bow down? You're bowing down to death You're bowing down to disease. You're bowing down to your boss. And at that moment, this person understood that he actually has to bow down to some authority. So he bowed down, and Prabhupada then concluded, but when you bow down to Krishna or his representative, then your life is perfect. So now before we even get to that point of truly appreciating Lord Nityananda being an expansion of mercy, this chapter that we just read from, the glories of Lord Nityananda Balaram, it describes obviously the glories of Lord Nityananda being an expansion of Lord Chaitanya, but then I would say 3/4 of the chapter is dedicated to the tattva of Lord Nityananda and actually who Lord Nityananda is. And without that understanding, we truly, we would either take Lord Nityananda to be some personality who's just, obviously walking around as an avadut, he's intoxicated with the love of God, we wouldn't be able to recognize him. But who is Lord Nityananda? So at the very beginning of this chapter, and like I said, it takes up to the 3/4 of this chapter. There's this description of how we are in this material realm, and beyond this material realm is the Paravyoma, which is the spiritual sky. And in the spiritual sky, the topmost planet is Krishna Loka. And in that Krishna Loka, who is the object of worship? Srimati Radharani and Krishna. And Krishna's first expansion is Balaram. And then from Balaram, the next incarnation is Sankarshan. Then from Sankarshan comes the Chaturvyuha, which is Vasudev, Pradyumna, Aniruddha and Sankarshan. And from that second Sankarshan, then Mahasankarshan, comes the Vaikuntha planets. And from those Vaikuntha planets, then there is Mahasankarshan expands into Karanavashai Vishnu, who is actually, so this is, if you just put to, this thing, where is this picture? Maybe it's all the way at the end there. You see this Karanavashai Vishnu, he expands and he's actually lying. So there is this material world, this is the spiritual world, and then there is the causal ocean. And he lies in the causal ocean, and in one corner of this causal ocean or this spiritual sky, there is this cloud, right, which can be described as Maya. And just from a distance, Karanavashai Vishnu, it actually just glances on this actually it's what we know it because we've just finished the third canto. It's the Mahat Tattva, but actually in its dormant state, it is known as Pradhan, which is the modes of nature in its unmanifested state. And Karanavashai Vishnu just glances on this Pradhan, which agitates it, and then that gives rise to Mahatattva. And what does his glance consist of? The living entities. He injects the living entities, and then from there, creation actually begins. Now this is Mahatattva, and then from it is described the Mahavishnu, Karanavashai Vishnu, just lying in the causal ocean, and just as we see particles of dust pass through the window, the pores of windows, similarly, there are universes that are just coming out of the pores of the skin of Mahavishnu. And innumerable universes are coming out. And in each universe, we see that Mahavishnu expands and enters as Garbhodakashai Vishnu, who's residing in each universe. And from Garbhodakashai Vishnu comes Shirodakashai Vishnu, who's residing in everyone's heart as the super soul. And then it is described that all the avatars who are actually descending into this world are actually coming through the agency of Shirodakashai Vishnu. So now why are we describing this? That's because this Shirodakashai Vishnu, as we see, if we just go up, Mahavishnu is just a plenary portion of Lord Nityananda. So we may find ourselves, to be having some position or we may find ourselves to be of some importance in the material world. Um, Once there was a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He was describing his interaction with Srila Prabhupada, and he said, um, Srila Prabhupada told him, describing this whole thing, where there's innumerable universes, and of all these universes, there's this one universe in which we are seated, and in this one universe that we are in, there are many planets. Out of which planet there's many planets, there's this one insignificant planet called planet Earth. And this planet has many continents and oceans, and of this many continents, there's one continent called North America. And of all these continents in North America, there's this one insignificant country called America. And of all these, and this insignificant country like America, there are many cities and towns. There's one city such as Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is such a huge city, there are all these streets and suburbs. There's this one street called La Cienega Boulevard. And as La Cienega Boulevard, there are so many houses and dwellings. And there's this one small Hare Krishna temple. And in the Hare Krishna temple, there are many devotees. And of this one devotee, there's one devotee thinks he's the most important. So Srila Prabhupada, he said that I just felt I went from here all the way to. So, Karnadavashai Vishnu, who's a plenary portion of Lord Nityananda Balaram. In fact, we see Ananta Shesh has actually been, he has two functions. In his function as, through his hoods, he's actually maintaining all these universes. And through his bedstead, he's actually providing comfort to Lord Vishnu. So, towards the end of this chapter, it's described all these different rasas that Lord Balaram, or in fact Lord Nityananda, is actually serving Lord Krishna. So, now this Nityananda Balaram, when he comes as Lord Nityananda, he takes birth in Ekachakra, as we just were describing, as the son of Hadai Pandit and Padmavati. And he was the life and soul of the entire village. He was very devotional from from his very birth. And the age of 12, there was a sannyasi named Lakshmipati Tirtha who actually came to request, as a customer sannyasi, you visit your home, you serve him. And while he was parting, the parents asked, how can we serve you? And he said, please give me a son. And at that time, Lakshmipati Hadai Pandit, just in the mood of Maharaj Dashrath, where his son was being taken, he just said, please, all the villagers, everyone in the villages came, you can take all of our children, but please leave us with Nitai. And Lakshmipati Tirtha said, no, I need Nitai. And then he described that Lord Nityananda went on pilgrimage all the way to Rameshwaram, Vrindavan, to all these places. And actually when he entered Vrindavan, he entered in the mood of Balaram, where he would play, just like how the cowherd boys would play. And he was sitting there waiting, just because in Chaitanya Leela, Lord Chaitanya actually appeared. There's a difference of about 10 years. So he was waiting for Lord Chaitanya to start his Sankirtan movement. And as soon as he got the news that Lord Chaitanya had arrived on the scene, he then, made his way from Vrindavan to Navadvip, where Advaita Acharya was also waiting. And it's described very beautifully that when Lord Chaitanya said that I had a dream. So the plan was Lord Nityananda hid himself in the house of Nandanacharya. And Lord Chaitanya, obviously being the omnipotent Lord, and obviously they have their, their, for purpose of pastimes, he was telling Srivas Thakur that, last night I had a dream, and in that dream I saw this most beautiful personality who was seated on a chariot, and that chariot is actually headed towards Goloka, that which actually is the topmost destination for all of us. And he said, in this chariot, there's a personality who I want to meet today. And all that this personality told me, Lord Chaitanya, that we will meet tomorrow. And I couldn't sleep. And please, he was requesting Srivas Thakur to please go and find this personality. Srivas Thakur searched the whole of Navadvip not to find him. And when they came and gave the report to Lord Chaitanya, Lord Chaitanya said, come with me. And then they go to the house of Nandanacharya. And it is described, as soon as Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda met, they were just tears of ecstasy, and then they just embraced each other. And when I was hearing His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj describe this, obviously Maharaj, he's describing in such sweetness and with such strong realization, and he was describing, where in this world do you see when two lovers meet that they faint? Not even Romeo and Juliet would ever to have done that. And he was describing that it's these, they met, and then Lord Chaitanya revealed his Sadbhuja form. And Lord Chaitanya then instructed Lord Nityananda to please spread the holy name of the Lord. Bolo Krishna, Bhaja Krishna, Bolo Krishna Shiksha. So him and Haridas Thakur were actually two associates who would go. His Holiness Bhakti Chauru Maharaj beautifully describes that Bhakti Vinod Thakur describes Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement as the marketplace of the holy name. And who is the sole distributor of this in this marketplace? Who is the sole distributor of this holy name? Lord Nityananda. So he's going around, he's begging everyone to chant the holy name. And Radha Maharaj describing who is actually going out and distributing this mercy and begging people to chant the holy name. Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur. Lord Balaram and Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is actually the grandfather. Maharaj was describing, when he was addressing to the congregation, he said, some of you may be grandfathers in this congregation. You may have 2 or 3 grandkids. And here we have Lord Brahma, the first living being in this universe, from whom Prajapatis have come. And he's going and getting whippings on his back just to entice people to chant the holy name. So if you think you're important, maybe you can study the life of Haridas Thakur. So it is described that these two personalities would go every day and beg people. If someone wouldn't chant the holy name, they'll just get on their knees and say, please chant the holy name. Please chant the name of Gauranga. So like that, they would go, and one day, it's described, obviously we won't have time to get into this, but we've heard this on so many occasions. In fact, the verse itself describes how they've delivered the most fallen, and the 2 most famous personalities that they've actually delivered are Jagai and Madai. And described that Jagai and Madai were Brahmins from birth, but then due to bad association, they had done so many abominable activities that Chitragupta, who is the record keeper of Yamaraj, was actually having a hard time, just understanding what kind of sinful reactions would they have to accrue. Because, so in one sense, Chitragupta was having a nervous breakdown. He was just having, a lot of time when we have in our workplace, when we have deadlines that we can't meet, and we just feel like we are helpless. So Chitragupta was also feeling very helpless. And these 2, Jagai and Madai, one day they were just doing about what they usually do, And when Lord Nityananda saw them, he just felt that if we were to entice them to worship Gauranga, then the glory of our master would be, you know, magnified so many times more. And we understand that the humility that these, of Lord Nityananda and Balaram, they are not seeing that what would it do for them, but how would this actually enhance the reputation of Lord Chaitanya. So they go up to these two personalities and they actually tell them, and in their Jaga and Mada and the sheer arrogance, they say, yes, what do you want us to do? That we want you to chant the name of Krishna. And then they basically say, before something comes in a hand, you should actually run away from here. And then they started to attack them, and then Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur start running. And when they are running, Lord Nityananda jokes with Haridas Thakur and tells him, what have you done? And then Haridas Thakur tells him, it's not me, this is solely your agenda. You're the one who's done this. And then later on they go and give their report to Lord Chaitanya, and Haridas Thakur then submits a complaint to Lord Chaitanya. He's like, you send me with this crazy man. He goes and swims, in the lake with crocodiles, and he's chasing away these crocodiles. And because he's fast, I'm the one who's left behind, who has to actually protect myself. He'll go up to the cows, he'll drink their milk, and he'll run away, and I'm stuck there because the cows are here to, ask me for what's happened. He'll go to young girls and say, I want to marry you. And then their brothers will chase me. So he said, every day you send me with this crazy man. And today was the grand finale. He just went up to these two people whom the whole of Navadvip, just don't want to do anything with. And he asked them to chant, and they actually started attacking us. And Lord Chaitanya said, there's no limit to the mercy of Lord Nityananda. So as the pastime unfolds, because we wouldn't have time for it, Lord Nityananda again makes another attempt, and at this time he is attacked by Madai. And as soon as he's attacked, the news of his injury reaches to Lord Chaitanya, and then Lord Chaitanya wants to, he invokes a Sudarshan Chakra. But at this very same moment, Lord Nityananda pleads to Lord Chaitanya that if you were to do this, if you were to kill Jaga and Mada, then you practically may kill everyone in this Kali Yuga, because everyone is